what he believes to be of quality. But there is, unseen by most, an episodic horror-based TV show. A show that still holds up. A show called Tales from the Dark Side.
You're not listening to me. It's not about doing something. It's about not doing anything. It's about kind of allowing it to happen.
Hey, what's up, and welcome back to Talks from the Dark Side, the podcast where we talk about Tales from the Dark Side, the horror anthology television show from the 80s created by Richard Rubinstein and George Romero. I'm Joe Lascola.
I'm Sean O'Rourke.
And I'm Chris Barr.
Today we're talking about Effect and Cause, directed by Mark Jean and written by Michael McDowell from December 8th, 1985.
Well, it's Michael Kube McDowell. It's not the Michael McDowell.
Did he marry a Japanese man? You think?
Yeah.
Possible.
That's exactly what happened.
He gets compliments on the hyphen,
Yeah,
though. Yeah.
right.
Space Godzilla obviously oversaw the marriage.
He might have.
That's what I'm saying.
They got married at that Godzilla hotel is what happened.
of
What?
course.
Where are we going?
I don't know.
I don't know where we're going, but we're here with Talks from the Dark Side, obviously.
There's an effect and a cause for everything,
Yes.
fellas.
There you go. Thanks, Joe. Thanks for pulling that out of
There
our
it is.
asses.
So before we get into this, Chris Barr, can you please read us the synopsis for this episode?
All right. So from the official Fangoria episode guide from 85, it says, a woman is cursed with a bizarre form of precognition. She lives at the consequences of events prior to their actual occurrence. Thus, it says thus, an ambulance arrives at her door just before she falls down a flight of stairs. A grocery delivery arrives before she has ordered it. All right. When the woman
And then it just ends.
no, it says at all.
I mean, just read it. Why
All
not?
right.
That's the bit.
Orders it
It's
all,
like
period.
etc. Yeah. Okay.
Was Gingold editing this? What was happening?
Yeah. Why is it all? These are weird. Sometimes they are. When the woman attempts to experiment with her strange psychic faculty, disaster ensues.
Effect and
Yeah.
cause.
I
So
guess
that's a good synopsis there.
gives the beginning away a little bit, but not the
Yeah.
whole taco.
I mean, there's not much else there.
Well,
There's the
fair.
episode. Thanks for coming.
Well, see ya.
Welcome back, right? Yeah.
Cause and effect, right?
Yeah.
Or effect and cause.
Effect and cause.
Yes.
This is some at first you're just kind of like, all right, what the fuck is even happening? And as you're putting the pieces together, like as the characters are showing things, you're like, okay, I can see where this is going to go. And it just ends in a spot where you're like, wow, they really went all in on this curse or whatever this is.
There's a problem with not explaining,
yeah.
when you don't explain enough,
You kind of like lose your footing.
you lose your footing a little
Yeah.
bit, and then it gets super muddy towards the end of this
Yeah.
episode. And then you're kind of, and this is going to happen in another episode we're going to get to, where it's like, they didn't think it all the way through, or they got to the end, they were just like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Or it's like you could tell like as this started, it's like you could see like somebody had a fun idea,
Yeah.
but then as it went on, it was just written sort of weird. So
Yeah.
like the further in the episode you go, you're like, when's it going to be explained? And it doesn't.
Exactly, and it's like so vague, and
Mhm.
well, we're gonna get into it, but like they don't really go any which way. They're just
Yeah.
like, maybe it could be this, maybe it could be
Yeah.
this.
'Cause-
Reality is just crumbling around us? Question mark.
Sometimes you don't always want all the cards, but when
Yeah.
it's just like muddy like this, then you're like, all right, I need at least one or two. Like, hand me something.
Well,
Yeah.
it goes in one direction, and then it makes a left, and
Yeah.
you're like, wait a second, what?
Because it kind of kicks off with this one with Kate, and she's a painter, and she's kind of going through all her work in her apartment and saying, "Oh yeah, every one of these paintings means something. It has a positive energy." Until she finds this like nun-ass painting, this fucking like something she drew in a fever dream or something. Doesn't even remember painting it.
It's Susan Strasberg, by the way, and she also plays Karen Tandy in The Manitou, and also something. And Viola Davis in Bloody Birthday. Which is kind of funny that her name is Viola Davis in that movie.
Yeah.
But her father, she's the daughter of Lee Strasberg, who was Hyman Roth from Godfather 2, which I thought was kind of
okay.
interesting. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, it's a fun little connection.
Yeah, I thought it was
Little
cool. I mean,
lineage
and
there.
she's been in a ton of shit. She's worked with like Jack Nicholson and all kinds of people, and
Okay.
she's been doing movies forever.
Okay.
So this again,
Well,
we talk
this
about that
obvious-
thing where like once you get to the end of the road, this is
Yeah.
where you
Oh,
end
yeah.
up.
This
Like
is where you end up. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, this is obviously her highest acclaim.
I think so.
Being in this Tales from the Dark Side.
We're
episode.
still talking about it
Well,
right
yeah,
now.
true.
you're not wrong.
But yeah, she's like Sean said, she's like this hippie artist, and she gets these paintings from her friend because she's on the skids, I guess, or like broke or whatever, because she's a starving artist, quote unquote. So her friends brings her these paintings that already they're canvases that already have paintings on them. So
Oh,
what
right.
so what they want to do is like reclaim them and like
Yeah.
paint over them. So
Yeah,
she,
she
can
gets
get
like
fresh
old,
ones.
just old paintings that she could reuse, paints over with what is she, gesso.
Yeah,
Just like repaints them. You got a
She's-
brand new canvas.
she's obsessed with that
Yeah.
gesso, dude.
just going to Goodwill and just getting some crap paintings. Yeah,
All right, that's
me
my
with
bet.
that's one way to do it.
Hit me with that Mod Podge,
Yeah.
baby.
Exactly. Okay, that's my bad. I thought she painted those, like I said, in a fever dream. I misunderstood the beginning part there.
Oh,
Okay,
no,
that makes
no,
more
no.
sense then.
No, she's
Because I'm like, how do you fucking forget painting that? That
Yeah.
thing is intense.
No, but she goes on this whole thing about
Right.
like how it's bad karma to paint over them.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, man, like, oh, what the hell does she say? She's like, man, a painting is a sacred object that lives forever.
Yeah, and she says,
got
"What
this
is it?
good
You put-
energy.
I
yeah,
did
you
the positive energy. I remember that.
Yeah, you put energy into it, and it lives there.
It's a living
Yeah.
particle, man.
Yeah.
Tell that to my college professors that constantly, that was like the course. Yeah, paint over, get the turpentine over. You gotta let
Yeah.
go of shit.
Well, her friend's like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
Oh,
she's like,
yeah.
I dance, I put energy into dancing, and that's it.
Yeah.
She's like, no, they stay in paintings, and that's kind of like, I guess, sets up the idea for what's coming.
I guess
Right?
so.
I mean, it's definitely, there's some energy in there, but it ain't positive.
Yeah,
I guess so. And it's one of those things where like a lot of the old paintings, a lot of those were painted over with like some of the, the greatest works of art ever, I feel like, are painted over
Yeah.
paintings.
Well, you get
know
those
what
like things that come out, like the UV, like
you could
X-rays. They find other stuff on the paintings.
Yeah, I forget what it's called, but like they can see
oh, it's called
underneath.
the Da Vinci Code.
Oh,
Wow,
gosh,
wow.
crack that cryptex.
Oh my God. Nicolas Cage is looking for it, you know?
Yeah,
So like Sean said too, there's this nun-ass painting that's like she pulls out and it comes. It's
Oh,
like a
yeah.
recurring painting, and you're like, well, wait a second, does this painting have anything to do with this? Is this her? Is this the Is this the cause and effect,
It's
or the
gotta be,
effect of
right?
the cause?
or is it just a creepy nightmare painting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a curse on the painting?
I
Like
want to find one of those in Goodwill. It's like I'd put that in my living room.
you found some pretty good stuff over
Oh
the
yeah,
years.
that's a good one.
I don't know if it's as good as this though.
Yeah,
I mean, whether it's the painting's curse, which I think is what they want you to think, or the house just has something going on, like this haunting or whatever the fuck this is, progressively gets worse as the episode goes on. But at first, it is that stuff where it's like the paramedics show up and they're like, the fuck are the paramedics here for? Like, oh, you gotta call someone fell down the stairs. And the friend's like, no, we didn't. And then the fucking woman falls down the
Dum, dum, dum,
stairs.
dum, dum, dum.
It's like, whoa.
The guy's like, oh, you didn't have to fall down the stairs on our account.
Yeah, well, and then you get the like creepy music, cut to
Yeah.
commercial.
Yeah, and here's where we get that sort of like regular kind of atmosphere we get from a lot of these episodes. Right before it cuts to commercial, you get
Oh,
that
yeah.
weird uncomfortable pause
Yeah.
where it lets you kind of like settle in with like where we're going.
Yeah, and you take in what just
Yeah,
happened.
you're
yeah.
like, okay, it's like
Right.
here's where we are with the episode.
Effect and cause. Got it.
Yeah. Speaking of cause and effect, affecting cause, we come back from this commercial, if you will, and the woman's in the fucking cast, getting pushed in the wheelchair. Like, oh my God.
Yeah, her friend helps her out. I missed this guy's name.
David.
Is it David?
David, yeah, yeah.
It's David, and then her friend Janet comes over, who's like this like businesswoman.
This social,
Oh,
like,
that's her sister.
Oh, it's her
Yeah,
sister.
okay.
Well, she's like the straight woman.
Yeah.
And like here's you got your artsy fartsy sister, and then you got like the complete
Yeah,
opposite.
I skipped a lunch
person.
with a designer.
yeah, well, also kind of highfalutin still. but
Yeah,
yeah.
She's very. I think at one point they're like arguing, and she's like, oh, you're like a very like big skeptic, and
You're
she's
the
like,
careless mystic.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, and you're the gullible mystic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you and your tarot cards, and yeah, she goes on a whole list.
There's like a bunch of like things that are so again, effect and cause. There's like so she's like sitting on her couch and she's painting over these paintings.
She gets paint on her shirt. She's like, oh my God.
She spills the fucking
Double damn.
What are you,
Yes.
can't double date. What are you? You're painting. What? Who cares?
Well,
Wear a shitty shirt.
Oh my God, dude! But she's also like just putting the brush down on the fucking table, and it's like all over, and I'm just like, oh my God.
I mean, listen, I'm not really a painter. My wife used to paint all the time, but like, unless you're just like one of the laziest people, like who's just kicking back like you're drinking coffee on the
sofa,
couch
yeah.
painting?
you're making a mess.
Yeah.
Like you have I understand her leg is broke, but like give me
Yeah.
a break. So through all of this, her fucking doorbell's ringing, and like before we keep going, there's also like she has a problem with the gas stove. It like leaks gas.
Yeah.
Just want to put a pin in that. But the doorbell rings, and like this thing looks like a fire trap nightmare. Like it's just
It's an
shooting
old school
shots
one.
Yeah,
out of it.
sparks everywhere.
Yeah.
It's all like distorted. Like the bell's all weird.
She has like she's just letting this house fall into disrepair because she can't like afford it.
And now that her leg's broken, she definitely can't even fix what she was able to before.
Yeah, if that. So this guy drops off groceries, and this is where we really get like the first like the big inkling of this, because like that little stuff was weird and coincidental, but now this guy brings these fucking groceries in, and she's like, I didn't order any groceries. She opens up her fridge, and he's like reading off the list, and shit is like disappearing
Yeah,
in the
this
fridge.
is the weird part. It's
Yeah.
like just when you think you kind of see what's
Yeah,
happening, like,
yeah.
oh, things are happening early, or like, whatever, affecting calls.
Mm.
It's now it's like you don't know where it's headed. It's like, yeah, the delivery guy comes in and like, oh, let me check my which is weird too. Bringing the guy in the house to see your fridge.
Oh, yeah, because he's like, oh, I'll have all these groceries. I didn't order these. I still have all the stuff. Come look. And
Yeah.
then he's like you said, reading
Come
it
look
off.
in my kitchen.
Well,
Yeah.
she's like, let's
Yeah.
sort this out because I'm not fucking paying for it.
I mean,
Two
think about
bags
it.
of groceries. Yeah.
No, dude, he just wants to get the fuck out of there. He's like, yeah, I don't know. Here's your shit.
So then she's like puzzled, as you
Yeah.
would be with this Dana Barrett ass moment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kinda.
And the guy, gives her the shit, and then we kind of move on, and she's just kind of like, this is weird. And again, like Chris was just saying, you're like, all right, what is actually happening here? Is it cursed? Is it a ghost? What the fuck is
Yeah,
going
it's like
on?
everything in the fridge is just like, she's like, oh, look, I have milk.
Bloop.
Bloop,
Yeah.
just disappears.
It just popped out of there.
Yeah,
Just popped out
I
of
have fruit. It's like
Yeah.
gone. It just
Chex
fades
Mix.
in the shot,
tea.
and everything in the fridge just disappears.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, let's check my cereal. So they open the cabinet, more stuff's disappearing, and it's like, yeah, it's like, all right, like,
But you said the term though. She comes up with that. I forget if somebody says that or she says it, but pop. She's like, oh, it's popping out of existence.
Popping out of existence. But the weird part is like, it's like, okay, so one is like kind of premonition-esque with the ambulance and her falling down, but
Yeah.
now things like reality is being augmented. So that's like two different things that we're trying to do here.
yeah. And I
Right?
feel like we're already sort of getting off the rails with like how it's being explained.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I'm all for leaving things to the imagination, but here it's like, give us a little bit of like,
She tries to kind of explain it, one to her friend, but also I guess to the audience on some level, because she has like that deck of cards she breaks that. She's like, "Come on, just pick a card, whatever's in your mind. It doesn't
Yeah.
even have to be like a real card." He's like, God, 12 of, what does he say? 12
circles or
o'clocks.
dots or something.
7 o'clock.
And then he pulls out the card and it's a fucking clock on there. And it's like, holy shit, where'd you get this
King
deck?
of Frogs.
Yeah, King of Frogs.
Yeah.
The way that they set that up though is like it's almost like the power of intention.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, she's saying that, yeah.
is kind of steering the events and like what stays and what goes and turning things into things that aren't actually there.
Yeah, because she says to him, like, oh, empty your head, just have positive thoughts, or I have something to that vein, in that vein, rather.
Yeah, and she's gonna summon the form of the fucking destroyer is what's gonna happen.
Yeah, Stay Puft's walking in, exactly.
So like he's able to like do this with his intention and change all these things. Now she says she's been also practicing with this or doing it all day, but we never actually see her do it. And this guy specifically, his intentions are changing things.
Yeah.
So we're also led to believe later that like he's the reason all this shit is happening in this
Maybe.
weird roundabout way, because she kind of mentions that.
Yeah,
to him.
later
Like,
on, it's
yeah.
like kind of implied that like he's also doing it.
Yeah, like
Even,
unintentionally.
even talking about this, I'm like going back in my head. I'm like already having a hard time keeping up with like what. It's a weird episode.
Like
and it's
having-
we're
yeah.
we're off the rails with
yeah,
this.
because it's like there's 3 different things that you were trying to do here.
Yeah.
She says it in like a throwaway comment later.
Well, and then, like, while she's kind of explaining this, she has, like, the card thing we just talked about, but then, like, he's like, all right, well, I got to get out of here. You know, I have something to do. I forget what he says, but
He's got a class to teach or something.
right. And he goes to reach for his keys. She's like, David, they're gone.
They're gone.
He's like, what? He's like, they were right there. She's like, well, it's the house. I don't know what to
Yeah,
tell
same
you.
thing. You see his keys and they just like fade out into the shot.
Yeah, and then she's like, "You can get the bus," and
Yeah.
then like
You got 10 minutes to get there.
He's like,
You can make
all
it-
right, stop fucking with me. Come on, where are they?
he goes to leave, and they like reappear on the mantle.
yeah,
and then
next
he
to
leaves.
the clock.
Yeah.
It's like,
Okay,
all right.
but then like
Yeah.
later in the episode, things are turning into other things, which is
Well,
weird.
that's like where she's like, oh, I could change reality. And that's the thing where it's like, well, is David doing it? Is the house doing
Right.
it? Again,
And-
is it the fucking painting? We don't ever get confirmation.
And part of it too is like she tries, and here's where we get our little bit of like exposition or explanation. She explains like, oh, well, it's like the chaotic nature of the universe.
Mm.
You have to embrace like the chaos and like let things be random, but not on purpose.
yeah, and it's also
Like
like
a hitchhiker's guide kind of thing, like the Heart of Gold almost, where it would teleport.
Right. Yeah.
right, but then it's also an object permanence thing,
Little
where
bit.
it's like like she uses the house that they're in as an example, and she's like, well, all of these people drive past it every day, so the house isn't going to change or go anywhere
Yeah.
because of that, because people see it all the time and it's like there,
Yeah.
right?
It's like
Well-
they're keeping it in reality, but
Yes.
like little things like cereal or like David's car keys.
Where the fuck did all
Yeah.
your other socks go in the
Yeah.
laundry?
Right. Well,
Popped right out of
Yeah.
existence.
She says all that, but then as everything kind of just starts to just spiral out of control, because again, again, I don't want to keep repeating myself, but whether it's the curse, in my head canon, whether it's a curse, a ghost, or whatever the fuck
That's the
it
thing.
is.
It's like we don't know what it is.
Yeah.
the
So it-
painting.
Yeah, it's like we have no idea what's happening in this
She
episode.
just sees her tchotchke starting to fucking pop in and out of
Yeah,
existence, changing from like a cat to a dog to
Yeah.
like to different animals.
A fucking bear turns into an actual physical, honest to goodness mouse, and it starts
Oh,
crawling
yeah.
around.
that spooks the hell out of her.
So all of these things are happening, and you're not sure. Like you said, is it a ghost? Is it a curse? I don't think it's either of those things.
Poltergeist.
It's like
Not
it's
sure,
like honing in on how to augment reality and therefore unraveling it around yourself.
Oh, like in the process.
It's like,
so like
okay.
so like you've become aware of it.
Yeah.
And because it's almost like that concept of like OBEs, like out of body experiences, right?
Mhm.
Like once you become aware of it and like how to do it, you can actually do it longer and like
Yeah.
visit
Like in
all
theory,
these places.
right,
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, if that's a real thing.
Sure.
But I mean,
Well, it's not a real thing because you're talking about it. So we have to not talk about
Don't
it
think
and then
about
not think about it.
Yeah.
And then maybe this episode will be better.
it could
Yeah,
be.
yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
we can pop in and do
We're
existence.
getting there.
Maybe we can alter the episode that it's better
Yeah.
later, like when the viewers go to watch it again.
See, in our memory, we'll just think of it as a better episode.
And it
Zap
will
the
be.
bad memories out, zap the good ones in.
Exactly.
Everything starts to ramp up. Her fucking spoon turns into a knife.
Yeah.
Magnets are falling off the
Magnets are
fridge.
falling off the fridge, which is weird because like is that a preemptive thing to the effect in the cause?
I think
Who knows
Zool just
anymore?
showed up.
Yeah, because like now it's like Sean said, like, is it a ghost? Because like now she's gonna put it back and she's like talking to it like it's an entity rather than
Right.
just a part of the reality physics.
I
Yeah.
mean, she-
It's like, which direction are we going with this? And we still have no idea.
Yeah.
She gets some fucking ectoplasm on her face, or maybe it's
Oh,
cum, or
wait,
maybe it's
wait,
wet
this part.
paint. I don't
Yeah.
really know what this was supposed
Well,
to be.
So she's freaking out, and now things are popping in and out, like we were saying, and changing to different things. And
Yeah, the
she's trying
stove's
to
going all weird.
Or
Doesn't
the stove shoots like water out
Yeah,
of
and the
it.
sink starts like
the sink
exploding.
shoots fire, and
Oh, yeah.
the stove shoots water, and she's trying to call David, and he's not picking up.
David!
And then the fucking phone disappears, and then
Oh, yeah.
reappears in the fridge.
yeah,
Oh,
which
she
is
hunts
such
for
a
it, yeah.
Yeah.
weird thing.
It's
And
weird.
Again, I can't stress enough. This is like just not explained. Things are just happening, and you're just all right.
She picks it up, and Harry Anderson's on the other end of the phone.
I'm
It's
saying.
really weird.
Yeah,
Yelling for David.
Yeah. So she ends up being able to talk to Janet. And she's like, Janet, you got to help me. Reality's like coming undone around me. And she's like, I got a date,
yeah. It's like,
So
you're
I
just
can't-
being weird.
so I can't help you out.
Yeah, she's like, this isn't right on. This isn't groovy.
Oh my
This isn't
God.
crash hot. Stop taking LSD.
Yeah, she's like, yeah, remember in college when we took LSD? She's like, no, I remember.
Oh yeah, that's a weird line too. She throws that in. You're like, all right, is this kind of in her imagination?
Well,
only
it's like, well, because you were hippies, remember?
Well,
Yeah.
she took LSD, but like also she mentions in the same breath that like she's also on that other medication. You're like, what other medication?
Yeah, it's like, what's wrong with this?
The one
woman?
that's opening your fucking third eye.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
right,
like,
exactly.
You know, I
Your
don't know.
pineal glands
Oh, yeah,
shooting
dude.
out. Yeah,
Crawford's there.
Lines up.
So she has this throwaway line here, like, "Oh, David, what have we done?" or something.
Yeah.
She's something like that, which insinuates that like he's willing it from wherever he's at, somewhere else.
yeah.
I don't know, but now everything is like a fucking Dali painting because she like goes over and like grabs the doorknob and it like melts and pulls out and like falls out, and
Yeah,
she's
turns
like,
this weird little like flaccid thing,
Yeah.
whatever that is.
and
Yeah,
she pulls it out like
it gets weird
like
here.
one of those snakes in the can.
Yep.
You know, it kind of
Yeah.
looks like that.
Well, then we have like this painting is now like almost like a demon at this point. Like, like almost like, I'm not even doing it just like almost like a screaming demon.
Yeah,
And
there's
she's
like a big
"Ah!"
focus on the painting,
And it appears on the door in front of her
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
she goes to try to leave.
and it's also like not painted over anymore.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Which is like, I guess, the confirmation that it was the painting, but we still don't know. Was it a cursed painting? Is it a ghost attached to the painting? Is it just, this painting's fucking weird. F you, lady.
But
Yeah.
was it though?
What else could it be? I mean, for this 22-minute episode,
Yeah.
like without really like sitting here and like scratching your head, like I don't know what they were trying to tell us.
Yeah, so all of a sudden you again, just like the ambulance before, now it's a fire engine, and she's hearing
Right.
the fire engine. She's like, "Oh God, Gesso, and she like falls over. She gets the fucking gesso on the
Which
face.
is such a weird shot. It's
It's-
like, why did they have to do that?
Don't
It's like she
know.
could have just fallen over and just been in a panic. But
Yeah.
no, they got to put like
goo on her.
yeah.
Goo on her
Here's the
again.
not safe for work scene.
Ectoplasm wet paint. I don't know
It's
what
not
it was.
paint.
Plasm. That's let's go with that.
If y'all haven't seen Gesso or Mod Podge,
Mm.
it looks like a spunk hit right on the
Yeah,
face
and,
there.
yeah. And we see like firemen or cops like breaking down the door. And she's like, "Oh no!" And then the fucking alarm's going,
Well,
or the doorbell starts going
She
off.
smells the gas again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
it's like there's gas shooting out of the stove. The alarm, which she made a very clear point to say is like on the fritz and
Yeah.
like short circuiting. Now there's like sparks shooting out of it. Cuts back to her. Oh no, not my short circuiting doorbell and the gas stove.
that I
She
did.
doesn't say that, but
Oh yeah, that's what it's implying. Is like
Yeah.
cuts.
Yeah.
The like, freeze frame on the sparks. Oh
You
And
hear
that's
the
it.
explosion.
Yeah.
But it like, is this episode just a metaphor for like to make sure you fix your fucking shit that's broken? Like
Is
fix
it?
your
no!
doorbell,
A roundabout way to
fix your
tell
stove,
that moral.
the perils of painting over canvases.
fix the
Yeah.
stairs or you fall down them. Yeah.
I think that a page was lost somewhere during the production of this that gave us maybe not the exact information, but at least a few more sprinkles to be
Yeah.
like, okay, that makes some sense.
That's the only way to end up with what we have here.
yeah.
Really, it's like again they went like a couple different ways. Like, oh, is it David manifesting this? These things in and out of existence?
because she's
Or
put
is
that
it
into
the
his
painting?
head. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
or
a
is it
mutant?
LSD?
or is she tripping
Yeah.
face?
Oh well, right, yeah.
And then
exactly.
just by way of exploding later
Yeah.
because she didn't fix any of the shit that her death trap house.
Right.
Yeah, maybe there's like a carbon monoxide leak too, and she just was like high.
Oh man, could be.
Yeah, where'd the keys go? Oh, I think I put them here. I don't remember because I'm like high on carbon monoxide.
She drank some of that mushroom tea.
Yeah, David finally gets out of there and he's like, wow, holy shit. Oh, wow. Oh, I should have got out of there a while ago.
So yeah, what do y'all think of this
Pass.
one? Didn't even
Easy.
get to finish.
It's like it's fine. I'll give it this much. Where it's like I like the atmosphere in a lot of Tales from the Dark Side episodes, and here there's a part later in the episode where it's like where she falls over and things are going a little chaotic. Where it's like we get some music hits coming in and everything. It's like we get some nice tension with the music and like the tone. I like that, but the way it's written, I just like there's like no excuse for like how much of a mess this is. It's like something just wasn't put on the page well enough, and just we don't get enough of like what's going on.
or like what it translated.
Yeah,
enough,
exactly.
you
And
know?
it's again, I'm all for like leaving things to imagination, but like when it's done well.
yeah, no,
And
100%.
I think here it's like somebody had an idea and it just didn't translate to page.
Something was left out.
Something happened. Yeah.
I think a page was missing
No, it popped out. That's
Yeah.
what happened.
Oh, yeah, well,
Just-
yeah.
yeah.
of existence.
What about you?
It's an okay episode. I don't know if I'd flat out pass it, but it is damn confusing just for the sake of it. There's another one coming up that's similar in that respect. I don't know. There's an idea there. Just make it a little bit more clear. Not that you have to in your supernatural episode, but you're putting too many carrots in front of my face for me to nibble on. I'm not sure which one to grab at, if that makes sense. Interesting ideas, not fully executed on, and just an okay episode.
This is a fucking skipperoo for me. I do not care for this one because of that. Like again, there's cool ideas here, and I like the weird mysticism of like being able to control reality or like like how it influences you and how you influence it, and like your surroundings and how we can shape kind of the outcome of things, and that's interesting to me. But it just gets too fucking muddy because again, it feels like a ghost or it feels like a curse, and it never like there is a big difference between manifesting objects, turning objects into different objects, and blinking them out of existence versus prophetical like things happening.
Right, yeah.
That's two different ideas. You know what I mean?
And also, like, maybe it's a demon because at the end there with, like, it kind of feels more demonic in that final minute. But, like, I didn't feel like that's what they were going for all until the final minute, if that even, like...
Unless you
know,
you might
do you
be
get
on
what I'm
something.
saying?
Yeah, you might be on something. What if it's a demon like influencing her mind and how she thinks and how she perceives the world around her and using that against her?
Maybe that's it.
You know,
I
maybe
mean,
that could
it's
be
the
it.
demon painting.
Yeah,
Yeah, maybe,
it's the
though,
noon.
Chris.
Yeah.
I mean, a rewrite, whatever. 1985, it's been
Yeah.
out for how long at
Yeah.
this point? But, like, maybe if it was, let's say it was a demon or the ghost angle, like, again, like you're gonna push her, go down the stairs or something like that. Oh, something pushed me. I don't know. I don't know what it is you could do to fix it. Maybe then it starts to turn into something else, and that's not what they were going for.
I think it's
but-
like pick a road and
Yeah.
stick on it.
Pick
Pick
a
like
lane,
one
yeah.
direction and like explain that in that little like dialogue scene she has with David. It's like they go real heavy and like, oh, the universe is so random. You have to like accept that. And it's like, but then why introduce like this haunted painting?
right.
That all of a
Or
sudden
like that
isn't
was random that she
painted over
received
anymore?
it.
Is it a red herring? You know what I mean?
It
She
could
sees
be.
it again. Again,
Yeah.
is this just her? Is this a reflection of what she's thinking, and that's why she sees it, and that's why
Yeah.
it appears in front of her? Because that could be an avenue.
Yeah.
It's also what really also pisses me off is Michael Kobe McDowell. Also wrote Slippage, which is a superior
Oh, man, that kinda
version
makes sense.
of this episode.
Which
Like,
I was gonna say, like compare like the ideas here with the ideas in Slippage.
Yeah.
Which is done so much better.
and the
very-
execution
yep.
of it.
He's mining that idea a little too much. I mean, it's not the same idea, but parts of the idea for sure with the disappearing, like you guys were saying.
Well, he was able to finesse it for that episode, and that's
Yeah.
one of my favorite
Oh, yeah.
episodes of
It's
this of
amazing.
the
Yeah.
entire series. And like here, it just gets lost. It gets it, and we've already said it. It gets too muddy and just doesn't work right for the three of
Yeah.
us personally.
Yeah, no, yeah.
And it's like with the run times in these episodes, it's like I feel like there's not a whole lot of like room to like play with the way they try to do it here.
Very little.
It's like they try to do a lot of things, and it's like you don't have to. It's like you can keep it weird, but like don't get too cute with like the
No.
way you're trying to the ideas you're trying to execute.
Right, and I agree with you. If they kept it a little bit more simpler and don't overdo it, and
Yeah.
and stretched out a little bit more of the existentialism, I think
Mm-hmm.
it would have been better.
Yeah, like not dumb it down by any means at
No.
all, but like just
Take some shit out.
pull it off better. Yeah.
yeah.
I completely agree.
So here's a couple just random little snippets from IMDb comments and like user reviews,
Okay.
which are always a goldmine of just
Content.
just smart people.
Smart asses.
So somebody said, Effect and Cause is almost a mini metaphor for Tales from the Dark Side. It has its creepy moments, but also flounders in amateurish production values. It's like that's a kind of
That's a
punch to the
backhanded
stomach.
compliment if I
yeah.
ever heard one.
And then another one says, as for the ending, well, a lot of Tales from the Dark Side episodes didn't really end. They just simply stopped, and this is a prime example.
Not wrong.
It's like, yeah, that pretty much sums up like the way this one ends.
But it is there is a resolution there.
That's true.
She just blows up.
Yeah.
True. Yeah, but that's a good point. That user or person, whatever you want to refer to them as, that's a good point because there's a lot of episodes just in these first 2 seasons where like, it just kind of ended.
Where the credits come up, you don't expect them to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's okay, but every once in a while it's like, all right, I wanted a little bit more.
Ursa Major comes
It's like,
to
granted,
mind.
I wasn't expecting them to show an explosion or, something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just kind of, it's abrupt.
Ursa Major comes to mind because you want to see that bear eviscerate
Well,
that
that's-
woman.
That's what
That's
I'm
like
saying. Yeah.
30 more seconds of that episode.
Or a
Yeah.
bear claw
Yeah.
coming out. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
We do get a little claw.
We do get
Or a
claw.
little
Yeah.
paw coming through. But yeah, Chris, you have a bunch of Midnight Madness shows coming up, do you not?
Yes. Oh, got all sorts of stuff going on. So every 2 weeks, give or take, I'm doing midnight screenings in Red Bank, New Jersey. We're playing all sorts of stuff. And Joe, you've been out a couple times.
Oh yeah.
You were out for Troll 1 and 2. That
I
was a lot of
was.
fun.
It was a lot of fun.
So yeah, I'm doing all sorts of weird stuff. And now it's like we're doing twice a month. So check my Instagram for what's next. And yeah, a lot of good stuff happening.
Yeah, next weekend is your Thanksgiving leftovers show on the 25th. And you got Ravenous, Blood Rage, The Boneyard, and The Mutilator. You got a quadruple Thanksgiving feature, man. It's going to be so cool. We're definitely going to be there, and you don't want to miss that. It's November 25th at Basie Center Cinemas, starting at 10 p.m. Yeah, man, that's awesome. Where can everybody find out the information on the shows?
So my Instagram is tape_hell. Here, it'll be on the screen right here. So that's my page. So check it out and see what's coming.
And the link will be in the description also.
Grab your tickets, go check it out. It's always a blast. 4 movies at the same time, and then you can pick which ones you want to watch and pair up with. It's really cool.
Yeah, so check it out and come see Midnight Madness.
So yeah, that's Effect and Cause. So let us know what you think about the episode in the comments. And if you're on YouTube, can you please like and subscribe? That'd be great. And if you listen on your favorite podcast app, do us a favor and leave us a 5-star review if you're digging the show. But until next time, I'm Joe Lascola.
I'm Sean O'Rourke.
And I'm Chris Barr.
Tales from the Dark Side is always there, waiting for us to watch it, waiting for us to hit play. Until next time, try to find it on DVD and watch along with us.